Good afternoon and welcome to Captain Morgan's War Games. This video is Warhammer 40k 10th edition pre-game stuff. So before we get into it properly, if you like this video or any of my videos, please like them, share them, comment. Interaction with you guys is key. The likes help the channel, and as I said, if you want to share, you can. If you don't like them, put a thumbs down, and the interaction is fine. But please comment and tell me how I can improve, and make things better for you. So without further ado, let's get straight into what this video is about. We've learned how to you've gone out, we've learned out what the games is, we've gone out, we've bought models, we've painted them, we've built a list, we're at the tabletop, so ready to play. So what's next? You muster your army. So in this case, we'll pretend this is the army I'm taking to play, and the orcs on the table here are going to be my opponent. After you've mustered the army and you're at the table and you've set up ready to play, you read your mission you're playing, objectives. Each mission will state what its primary objectives are and may include one or more special rules. These cover unique situations or abilities that can or can't be used during the battle. You create a battlefield, very similar to what's on you can see here. You do this by using the map, and it will give you the size of the deployment zones, and it will give you where the objective markers are placed. It might even tell you where to place certain terrain. Otherwise, you look in the core rule book, and on pages 49 to 52, even if you've got the digital version, it's still the same number. So if you go and look at that, that'll show you how to create a battlefield if there are no suggestions on the mission briefing. You can use a different size to the map to one suggested in the mission briefing, but if you do, you're going to have to change your measurements that it gives to suit the map to suit the size map you've got. And you'll have to change the deployment of objectives and bits and pieces to match that. Once this is done, once you've got a battlefield similar to what's on the table here, you create, you get two dice. Your opponent picks one up, you pick one up, and you roll two dice, and the winner is the attacker. You then declare battle formations. You write down, or you can tell your opponent which of your leaders will start attached to a unit. So in this case, we'll go Gulliman here. is going to be attached to some assault intercessors. Just as a quick show, and it's generally easier, I find, if you put that like that, so that you know and your opponent is clear that that now is one unit. Same with any dedicated transports. So let's say in this case we're going to put the 3 eradicators into the transport. You also state which units start in reserve and which units will start in strategic reserve. Only 25% of your army can start in strategic reserve, and only 25%, even though I assume will be able to start in reserve. Strategic reserve and reserves are different, and will have their own different rules. You then start to deploy the army. So how do you deploy the army? Right, so starting with the attacker, you will set up models one in an alternating set up units in an alternating fashion. So attacker will lay a unit normally in your deployment zone, but there are certain units like these which are called infiltrators. Let's see if I can move that out. So this unit here has a special ability that allows you to deploy outside of your deployment zone, but more than 9 inches away from your opponent's zone and your opponent's models. So you would be able to put that somewhere on the table other than your deployment zone if you wanted. When you're setting up your army, you really need them to be a new unit. It needs to be in unit coherency. Now, unit coherency, quite simply, is got it. Yeah. Unit coherency is all models in the unit have to be 2 inches apart, and if you've got more than 6 models in the unit, they have to be within 2 inches of at least 2 others. So for this, I've got a little measuring stick. Really, quite simple. I mean, it's usually just unless you've got an extremely long thumb, you can use your thumb to gauge. So what you do, that's 2 inches apart, and you can go like that, because unit coherency is vital. Unless you're on the building, and then there's separate rules for that, which we'll get into later on. But if you're moving along the ground, you're going to be sort of, you can, that is the maximum they can be apart. You can group them closer together like that if you wish, but sometimes having a larger footprint like that, and you will get used to it, just sort of sight, and as I said, it's that's near, so you will sort of get used to the distances. Because that will give a greater awe where your opponent can't deep striking within 9 inches of that. So your character 9 inches now is longer both that way and that way, whereas if you're all bunched up together like this, that 9 inches is a smaller area effect. But we'll get into deployment, greater things around deployment later, but I'm just giving you an idea of what would happen. So in this, right, I lay a piece, my opponent lays a piece. I lay a unit, my opponent lays a unit, and so on. And this is, as I said, within the deployment zones, or in the no man's land, if you've got abilities that allow you to do that. And this keeps going on until all units that are to start on the battlefield are on the battlefield. So now you pick up a dice, and your opponent picks up the dice again, and you roll again, and the highest number on the dice wins the roll off, and he gets first turn. So before the battle starts, you have pre-battle rules. You might have some pre-battle rules. Here you resolve all pre-battle rules. You might have a scout move, and your opponent might have scout moves, or you might have some rules that come into effect before the battle starts. This will be listed on the data sheets. It'll be listed in the rule book what those do, and in the codices as well. So if you've both got scouts, the player who's got first turn will decide, will start this process. So he'll do his scout move, and if you've got scouts, you'll do your scout move. If he's got a pre-game ability or rule, you'll do that, and if you've got one, you'll follow him. Once all those pre-game, pre-battle bits and pieces are done, you then go start the game. Now, as I've said in the previous video, a game is five battle rounds, and a battle round consists of 2 player turns. We will go through what a player turn looks like in a later video. Usually the mission will give you victory parameters. It's either the winner, it is the one with most victory points, or you might not have any models left on the table, and that's a condition. But once the player is wiped, the other player is victorious. As I said, so the battle ends after 5 rounds, or if a certain player has achieved a certain victory condition. Each mission has victory conditions and will tell you what is required to win the game. If neither player manages to achieve victory, then the game is considered a draw. Thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed, and remember... Thank you for watching. If you have enjoyed, please hit the like button, press the subscribe button, and hit the bell button to stay up to date with all my content. Also feel free to share anything you've enjoyed. Remember, everybody knows the dice are loaded.